Intel claims faster gaming performance can be achieved with Intel CPUs rather than AMD processors. Intel has once again released a set of real-world performance benchmarks comparing its 10th gen desktop CPUs against AMD's Ryzen 3000 XT lineup. The Blue Team claims that their CPUs offer better gaming performance than AMD, and also offers better price-performance ratio. These slides come via the BenchLife Tech website. Intel says their Core i7-10700K CPU is faster at gaming and also offers a reasonable value than the AMD Ryzen 3900 XT CPU. The new real-world performance slides were shown during a presentation at the EPIC Regional Conference, and Intel has given some performance metrics of the Intel Core i7-10700K CPU outperforming the AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT in several AAA PC games. These are part of Intel's internal performance testing methodology, which has been heavily criticized in the past. In case you didn't know, Intel recently claimed 37% faster gaming performance with its 10th General Comet Lake H CPU, when comparing it with AMD's APU. Their testing methodology remains controversial. Back in June, Intel's CEO Bob Swan stated that the industry should stop relying on benchmarks, and they should instead focus on the benefits and impact of the technology. But despite all this, Intel is still using its own internal benchmarks for comparison. The following two processors were used for testing: the Intel Core i7-10700K and the AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT CPU. The Core i7-10700K is an 8-core and 16 threads CPU having a base clock of 3.80 GHz, and boost clock of up to 5.10 GHz. It also comes with 20 MB of cache, and has a TDP of 125 watts. 229 watts PL2 state value. The AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT on the other hand is a 12-core and 24-thread CPU with a base clock of 3.80 GHz, and boost clock of up to 4.70 GHz. It sports 70 MB of cache, and has a TDP of 105 watts. Intel says that their Core i7-10700K CPU is also cheaper than the AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT. The Core i7 comes with a starting price of roughly $387 USD 410, while the AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT CPU costs between $480 USD 499. Ironically, Intel didn't benchmark the Ryzen 9 3900X CPU, which can offer almost similar performance as the Ryzen 9 3900 XT, albeit at a slightly cheaper price, 10% price difference. Nonetheless, Intel used similar test setups featuring an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Ti GPU and having 16 GB of DDR4 system memory. The memory was running at 2933 MHz speed on the Intel platform, while the AMD platform was using 3200 MHz DIMM modules. As evident from these company slides, the performance benchmarks clearly show that the Intel Core i7-10700K CPU outperforms the AMD Ryzen 9 3900 XT in several AAA PC titles. These are the figures for the Intel Core i7-10700K CPU, which is 23% faster in Total War, Warhammer 2. 17% faster in League of Legends. 15% faster in Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. 14% faster in Rocket League. 12% faster in War Thunder Tank Battle. 6% faster in Total War 3 Kingdoms. Apart from these games, several other titles were compared showing the Intel CPU having a 3% lead over the AMD Ryzen 3900 XT. 24 out of the 30 titles which were tested performed better on Intel's processor. Though, in some games the Ryzen 9 3900 XT CPU was ahead, like CSGO, which is one of the most popular esports, multiplayer first-person shooter title. All performance and benchmark tests were done on a 1080p screen resolution.